Hello, welcome to Game 5 of my match against SamE. We are tied at 2-2, so it's been an even one so far. Let's take a look at this board. Pretty sure you don't play with Familiar here, other than maybe you get one off of Populate. There's no villages, though, other than Paddocks when two piles are empty, and it's unclear to me what those two piles will be. The only trashing is Altar and Trade, I guess. So those seem like both really good things to hit. Bridge, Silver potentially gets you to that Altar fairly quickly. I assume we're just like altering things in the Chariot races, and then we get some trades and try to get all of our coppers and estates out of the deck. We can win some Chariot races. We've got potentially like a bridge in there or an Altar we can play. As the Chariot race pile gets low, maybe we switch over to Paddocks as our terminal. Cartographer seems like a pretty good card in that build as well, because it can line up things for the Chariot races. So maybe like the first Altar plays into Cartographer, and from there we see. They had a 5-2, which Relic makes a lot of sense. That the build I described really wants one Relic in it just for the nice attack. I think Bridge, Chariot race to me, Bridge Silver gives me the best chance of hitting my price point 6 if I can get it. And if you can get like something else, but this seems to have done it already, which is really nice to hit that immediately. And then in this 3, I'm going to take a Chariot race because I want to see that Altar as often as humanly possible. So I think for me, my first 5 wants to be a Cartographer. I now have a card I really want to see as often as possible, which is the Altar. So I'm going to get that another Chariot race. The Cartographer also synergizes well with what? With the Chariot races. So I can get a second Cartographer here or a first Relic. I think I want to get the Cartographer just again for the cycling stuff. Especially these minus card tokens are quite annoying for me. So it looks like I'm going to have bottom decked every single one of my good cards. And by that I mean literally every card that costs more than 3 is at the very bottom of my deck. I guess I'll grab my own Relic now. But this is quite something. Okay. Yeah, this is what we want to see, right? So we Chariot race, we play Cartographer, discard everything but this. Hopefully we win a Chariot race or 2. Turn this estate into another Cartographer. Just grab 2 Cartographers. Keep according to the plan. Spin, get the Relic and play every turn, play the Altar every turn. Or draw all the cards at the very bottom of the deck. I can consider a trade here, but I think the deck is almost ready for 1 Paddock. I'm not quite sure. I guess it's not quite ready. Yeah, I'm not paying as much attention to what SamE is doing for some reason. They got a potion, which seems like it's going to annoy me a lot. But if they've only got 1 Familiar, I can deal with 1 Curse a turn with all the Cartographers that I have. If I can draw them, which, I'm not drawing them here at the top of the shuffles, and SamE seems to be drawing their Cartographers at the top of their shuffle, so at least that shuffle. They had a bad turn 9, it looks like, so I hope this game isn't decided by just who finds their Cartographers early in the turn. I have so many Cartographers, it seems like I should be able to do that. Okay, let's lead in some Cartographers. I think we can keep the Silver We're going to discard everything, I think. Okay, we want to race there. This is slightly annoying. I guess we put a Chariot race on top and then discard this copper. That's what we want. This is like a somewhat bad shuffle we're doing here. Maybe this shuffle is just terrible. Yeah, maybe I underestimated somewhat bad and just triggered a terrible shuffle for myself. I'm going to be able to get a Paddock here since we're about to empty 2 piles. Man, do I just have a curse and 2 coppers? Maybe that was just an atrocious shuffle to trigger. I'm kind of confused as to how that shuffle worked. Literally all my good cards were bottom decked and all my coppers were top decked. Yeah, that terrible hand I had of the Relic and the 4 coppers was all in the discard pile, as well as the stuff I discarded with Cartographer. It like did not occur to me that I could shuffle it that badly, so I didn't think that triggering would be that bad, because I'm looking at my deck and it doesn't seem like it should be as bad as what I'm seeing there. Again, I still somewhat like my position. I feel like I've trashed more cards than them. They seem to be drawing a little bit cleaner than I am. Maybe I'm crazy. This is fine now. I should be able to churn through this shuffle here. Basically, I want to play the altar, the Paddock. I just want to play the altar, right? Is the only card I want to play. They're finding these familiars somewhat, so let's just gotta, watch that. What did I top deck? Okay, so sort of a question. I don't want to discard any of these things because I want to see the altar, I think. So I may actually have to discard one of these Cartographers. How does this work? The top 4. So I can play this Cartographer. Sorry, this Chariot race. Top deck the altar. Play this Cartographer. Discard the estate. So the bottom card is... So I'm going to discard anything, right? The bottom card is the altar. So I'm going to discard nothing. I will draw the Chariot race. Reveal the altar. Discard everything except for the altar, and now draw it. Okay, that worked out exactly the way I wanted it to. I'm slightly reticent to take this last Cartographer because it activates the Paddocks, but it does activate it for both of us. That's something. There's also, if you hit 10 at some point, so I could have hit 10 here and done a Populate. Feels like I'm adding a lot of bad cards to my deck. It also feels like we're nearing 3-pile territory. So I could just go Cartographer. They played their Paddock last turn and gained a Paddock. So like in theory, they don't necessarily have it near the top. So I can play Curse to Paddock here by a Cartographer. Or Curse to Cartographer by a Paddock here. I feel okay with that. It was quite nice. I won quite a few races that turn. I do have a couple of curses, but hopefully my Cartographers are able to find their way through that. I have quite a few more Cartographers, so I feel like my deck should be easier to get through than theirs. Maybe that's not the case, though. Maybe I'm... I also have the Bridge, which can be quite nice in late game situations now that the Paddock, once the Paddocks turn to none, to be villages. And yeah, in a key point, I can trade away 2 curses or something if I need to. But The fact that I skipped familiar means I am at a little bit of a deficit in terms of the cursing. So that's always going to be a issue with my build here. If I'd gotten a potion earlier instead of one of those chariot races when I hit 4, then I could be doing the same cursing stuff, but then I wouldn't be doing the other stuff quite as reliably. And their relic did hurt me some early. I have a Paddock on top. Okay, that's. I mean, it means I can play 2 Paddocks and get 4 horses down there, and consider what I want to buy. Potentially do a trade. I could trade away an estate copper, or I'll have 7, so I can do a couple of other different things. Get another altar, another Paddock. Yeah, they seem to be able to do the stuff without. I don't know if they just drew their stuff in the right order or what. I've been having a lot of problems with my cartographers at the top of decks, and I think it killed one of their shuffles and 2 of my shuffles, if I'm tracking that correctly. So it's that. Pretty happy to have all those things. It was a relic. Whether that's better or worse, I'm not quite sure. So I can trade away 2. I can just get another Paddock and feel content that the bridge gives me double province abilities. We're also looking at this curse pile, which can activate the Paddocks. And this is not a terrible shuffle to trigger here. We're looking at the 6 cards in it, plus 4 horses. 2 horses, another Paddock, I guess. Yeah, I kind of feel like I need them to dud at this point, though. Just the extra curses are giving them more VP each turn. They're netting a VP each turn. I'm winning races, but my deck is getting a little chunkier. I do have the ability to... I have a cartographer on top, which is quite nice. It looks like they're out of draw here. They're going to have a lot of horses now, so they're going to be fairly reliable. I hope I can get back around, play all my Paddocks this turn. If I can get to my reliability, then potentially win. They also have this pile pressure with familiars, where they can play the familiars and give me 2 curses and like alter into a curse by something. It would be crazy if they did something like that. Familiar on top. Gross. I have no cards, which are more expensive than a familiar. I'm going to go ahead and leave that curse on top. Sift a little more, see what I can find. Actually, I've got, 5 cards? So I want to play Paddock, Alter. I'm going to play Paddock, Alter, or I am going to be content to trigger this shuffle. I've got a couple of horses in there. I can play this Paddock and then trigger the shuffle. That seems okay. This did not quite go the way I had wanted. Yeah, perhaps that was just an awful shuffle to trigger. I don't know. I'm just going to buy some... I don't quite know what happened there. Yeah, I have a couple of horses in there, but that doesn't make up for all the crap cards I discarded. I keep considering only the cards that I discarded at the end of last turn or gained during this turn. I'm not considering the cards that I'm discarding to Cartographer. So this is perhaps one of the... Sorry, I did have 3 bad shuffles, but only this will be the 4th one. So 2 of them were triggered by me, which is somewhat self-inflicted. I don't know, perhaps just not getting the familiar in time at all was just an issue here. They are just able to slowly outbuild me, and their deck... I don't know, I added more cartographers, more chariot races early before the curses came in. I thought I would have been more reliable and building faster, but The bridge perhaps should have just been a silver the whole time. And they're quite close to ending it here. They can even activate their familiars mid-turn, or activate their Paddocks mid-turn. Not quite sure how that helps them. They can alter gain a bridge, and yeah, it doesn't really help them. They just buy another province here. I don't know. I'll click these 2 horses, and when I dud, knowing that I am going to dud, because all I have down here is 4 horses, right? Just go ahead and resign. Yeah, I would have thought, I don't really know. I would have thought that the stuff that they did would slow them down too much, but I don't. I think I'm done. Did they trigger a good shuffle? I don't really see how I can come back in this game, so I'm gonna resign here. Yeah, some of that was self-inflicted. Some of that I'm still confused. I don't quite understand. How I was drawing so much worse with the 7-3 and 4-3 Chariot races. Like, I thought I would be drawing better the whole time. So I'm interested to see what SamE thinks of that one. See you in game 6.